John, you have a CDL? Is that
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you've already pled guilty, right?
Yeah, all I needed, I
Okay.
pled guilty, paid the rest of the court cost, and then I just had to do the class.
Okay.
It was, 1.01.
Yeah, I see it right here. Okay. All right. Should be a couple more minutes and judge will be out.
Oh, about the fine,
Yeah.
so I guess it was failure to appear.
Yeah. I mean, if there's the judge will listen to what you have to say. If, you know, you have a the judge, it's a $30 fee, but if you have
Oh, no,
reason why you missed the
no.
court date, you can talk to the judge about that.
I still have pay that here, or,
You'd pay it at the counter.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feel better? Yeah. Um. Yeah. Okay, what's it going to say? So I go to this case and I was like, damn, this is fun. And then I was getting closer to me as I trial. I then go, let me just take a look further. Talk to my boss. Talk to your. And I'm telling you this, offer. So, you could not share. But it's with a choose for, and then to the point that.
You were set for 1:30, not 1:15. That's why.
Not really. I just know early check-ins are good, so.
Yeah, for sure.
These mics are amazing.
Oh,
Picking up everything in the hallway.
We can set it. You can start speaking, set up a conference, not set up a trial. I'm not gonna have to do it. I think we're fine. Yeah, that's fine. I would just, usually I would like, to get it done before I decide what I'm gonna, it's still. Yeah, I was like, this is what I'm gonna have to get again. I didn't ask for it, and I said, I'll get back to you. And then I was like, no, and then I found it now.
Judge will be out just a minute.
Oh, you are? Yeah. I'm gonna make it all the fun. Really, like, hospital that way.
You can be seated. Thank you. Give me a moment to log in here and we'll get started.
This is Mr. Singleton.
Okay, good afternoon to you, Mr. Singleton.
Traffic completion certificate in the file.
It's just taking a moment to look at this. Everything's going really slow. I'm not sure why. Okay, we can go on the record. And let's go ahead and call Mr. Singleton forward. Mr. Singleton, if you'll come forward to the lectern area, thank you for your patience while we waited for everything to turn on.
Sir.
And take a quick look at your file and then we can get started. Okay, I am seeing that the level one traffic class has been completed. That certificate is in our file. And let's see here. Look at the notes from the last court date so I can see what there was from the prosecutor's office. All right, so what it notes here is that the points would be reduced to a 1 point charge. You'd still be having to plead guilty to the same original charge. They may have explained to you that at the last court date because you're have a commercial driver's license, but 1 point will be reflected on your driving record. And I can't tell for sure if that may have already happened because it looks like the fine was already set. So Nick, do we have a?
Yes, sir, that did happen.
Okay.
I think we just gave an extension to do the class.
Okay, so it looks like everything's completed. And I want to just double check if the fees have been paid. There was a $30 balance.
It was for FTA.
Yeah, there was, and so it looks like you had paid the fine, and then there was an FTA fee that, but I'm taking a look here.
I can take care of that today.
Okay, that's the only thing left on your case is a $30 fee. Can you pay that out front?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. If you'll make your way out there, that'll close the case up for you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for your
Have a good
patience.
day.
All right, you do the same.
Enjoy your potluck.
Thank you.
The full court is excruciatingly slow right now. It's weird. Are you having that problem? Is it slow for you?
No. IT, look at your computer.
Well, isn't this a new one?
Yeah, but I think Judge Hill installed it, but I don't know.
Well, I don't think she was moving things around on the up here, but I don't think she intended to do anything that would have changed anything, but it definitely seems slow. I might have to just turn it off and turn it back on, but
We have one case on Zoom.
okay. Did she mention that she was having any kind of
She
difficulties?
did. Yeah, she did. When was the last time I was in here with her? She said it was moving very slow.
Okay, so maybe we need to touch base with them. Okay. All right, I have Skylar Fly, who is appearing by Zoom video. Good afternoon, Mr. Fly.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Give me a moment and I'll pull up your case, sir. And there is a plea offer in the file from the prosecutor, which indicated if you had completed a level 2 class, they would be willing to reduce the 6-point charge to a 2-point charge. I'm not seeing that the level 2 class has yet been completed. Have you completed it?
Yes, I did. I sent them the certificate of completion, but I had to resend it because I think it sent to the wrong email and it got a mail delivery like failure notification. So I just sent it just before this.
Well, why don't I have you send it to Nick in the courtroom? That
Okay.
way we don't have to try to hunt it down with the prosecutor. Nick's going to put in the chat his email address. And then if you'll email it to Nick, then we'll have it. And then we can go forward with accepting the disposition to the 2-point charge. As soon as Nick has that, he can let me know he's got it and then we'll get started.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, I sent that over just now.
Okay. Shouldn't be too long then. We'll probably see it up here pretty shortly. Let me know when you see it, Nick.
Uploading it right now. Okay, it's there.
Okay, and I do see the level 2 class completion certificate in the file now. So we can go forward with the disposition for you, Mr. Fly Wilson. The charge will be reduced from 6 points to a 2-point charge of driving with a defective vehicle. That's a violation of section 732 of the Boulder Revised Code. And this allegedly occurred at the 1000 block of Regent Drive on August 20th of 2025. How do you plead to that 2-point charge, sir?
I plead guilty to that.
I'll accept the guilty plea. I took a moment while we were waiting to just look over your driving record and the ticket itself. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with me before I set the fine?
Just that I definitely have learned to try to be more careful, and I'm signed up with insurance where I actually have to be tracked on my driving. So I've been even more just trying to make every turn as like slowly and carefully as I can and everything. So, but just I don't know that I was just driving that night trying to do DoorDash and was feeling squeezed by financial circumstances. So I don't know, I'm feeling challenged by the like financial state of this county. So
Mm,
that's the only thing I'm gonna add.
yeah, I can understand that. It's a challenging place to be able to afford. Okay, so
Absolutely.
I've looked over the driving record. I've looked at the ticket. I'm also taking into account the fact that you did pay the money for that class, which I know is $110. So there's an expense associated with that. And I do take that into account in setting the fine. And I'm also taking into account that this was barely into the 6-point range. It wasn't as egregious as some speeding violations that I see. So as a starting point, our record here will reflect that you've pled guilty to the 2-point charge with the 6-point charge being dismissed. And then I'm going to set the fine here at $110. There are $30 in court costs. Usually my fine is $150, so I've made it a little bit lower based on the fact that you had that class to complete. So it leaves you with $140 total to pay. If you're having financial challenges, I can give you some time to pay it, or if you can pay it today, that's fine as well. What works for you?
Yeah, it'd be great if I could have some time to pay that. Don't have that
Okay.
available at the moment.
All right, so we'll give you a court date. You won't actually have to come back to court, but Nick's going to email to you a notice of the court date along with the where you can pay the fine on the web, or you can call a staff member to pay online. As long as you've paid the balance before that court date, you won't have to come back to court.
Okay, thank you for that.
All right, so look for that email from Nick sometime later this afternoon, and that'll take care of things for the court.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Have a good one.
You're welcome. You're free to leave the meeting. Thank you. I will.
Stand up.
This drives me crazy. I don't know how that happens, but
It would drive me crazy. What? Further. I'm trying here. And I have emailed the city attorney like so many times that they haven't talked to me about this case at all. So should I just go check in on them?
yeah, you may have to try to reach him virtually. You want to do a Teams message and see if somebody can jump on?
It's so weird that I can't get.
Their secretary's back there.
Okay,
So, next her, she's back there.
all right. Well, we're here. My client is on the parking lot as I saw things right there. This sounds like it's gonna be a continuance.
She said which case she's on. Oh, sorry, there, she's there on the
Larson?
Trey Larson case, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that clock is freaky. Hello, Mr. Garnett.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I was checking to make sure I'm on time. I think I am.
We were just talking about it. It's the craziest thing is this clock that doesn't have a mind of its own. And Nick, I think we probably will need a prosecutor to jump in with this if we can tease him.
Pete, I'll be asking to set it over. I'm happy to talk to Mr. Reynolds about it, but Mr. Williams is not quite ready to make a decision.
Okay. And I don't know if Mr. Reynolds is going to be joining us or one of the other prosecutors, but if you don't need to have a conversation, I could take a look. I don't know.
Yeah, they've been very forthcoming in our discussions. Mr. Williams' situation is somewhat complicated, and there's a lot of moving parts here.
Okay. Well, the case isn't extraordinarily old, a couple months at this point. So
Yeah, there's and I can wait till the case is called here, and I'll tell you kind of what's going on.
Makes sense.
Feels like November out there today, guys.
Finally.
Yeah, although there's still no moisture.
Your Honor, this case just joined Zoom.
Oh, okay, good. Thanks, Nick. See if that's got counsel on it. That one does not, so we can go ahead and call that. I'm going to go back on the record whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Let's call the Modern O'Neill Levant Butler Broadbelt case.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Your Honor?
I'm well, thank you. Let me just take a quick look and see where we are with your case. My system's moving a little slow, so if you just be patient with me, it takes a moment for things to pop up. We're not quite sure why, but they do eventually. All right, so I'm just looking at the history here, Mr. Butler Broadbelt, and it looks like we've had a couple of extensions. The most recent was from October 23rd, and you were at that time wanting to get to perhaps access the 911 tape and see what you wanted to do after you had a chance to see that. Were you able to get that 911 tape from the prosecutor's office?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so let me just circle back. They had made an offer, a deferred prosecution offer back in September. And that was, I'll just remind you what it was. You were facing the charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. They had offered a 6-month deferred prosecution. They would expect you to complete a level class that's determined by our probation department. And then as soon as you've completed that class, if you didn't have any other charges from the date that you entered the disposition to the date that you completed the class, then they would ask the court to dismiss the charge and then seal your record. So that's the option that's available to you. You can share with me where you're at. If you're ready to proceed with that, that's fine. If you need to speak with a prosecutor further, you can have an additional conversation with one of them. What would you like to do, sir?
Your Honor, I'd like to go ahead and take that off.
Okay. You have any questions of me before I make this an order of the court?
I do have one question. I was ordered a level 3 class by the student conduct here at
Oh,
CU Boulder, and
okay.
I've completed that class. I was wondering if I
Great.
could upload that proof of completion to the court.
Yes. When did you complete that class?
Completed it November 3rd, I think.
So after getting this ticket, you completed that, and that was part of the Office of Judicial Conduct situation. You had to take care of that for them?
Yes, with the student conduct.
Okay. Well, that will satisfy our needs. So you won't have anything to do after we enter the disposition here except pay the $100 fee for the deferred prosecution. And you have that form handy somewhere where you can email that to us?
Yes, sir. I have it saved on my device. I can email it to you as
Okay.
needed.
I think what I'll do first is do the disposition with you, and then I'll have you briefly meet with probation. You won't have much to do with them, but they can have you email the document to them, and then they can make a record of it. They're going to turn right around after you've paid the $100 fee and dismiss your case and seal your record, because our agreement with defendants is if once they've completed the class, we don't make the case stay open for the full 6 months. So I'm glad you were able to complete that as quickly as you have, because that'll make your case basically be completed today. All right, so since you don't have any additional questions for me, I'm just going to reemphasize what this agreement is. It's a deferred prosecution. The only thing you're agreeing to is to keep the case open. In this case, it's only going to be open until you provide proof that you've completed that class and you've paid that $100 fee. Are you able to pay that fee today?
Yes, Your Honor. Am I able to pay it online?
You are, yeah. So
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to go ahead and make this an order of the court. And so the next step for you is you're going to get an invitation from Nick here to join the breakout room with one of our staff members, our probation staff members. Nick, and since I don't see them on camera, we may need to let them know. I don't know if Boulder Municipal. Oh, that's Dara. Okay, good. She's there. So Dara will take a look at the file, work with you, and then she'll give you her email so that you can email that certificate to her. And I'll just put a note here. Class completed pursuant to CU judicial conduct proceedings will satisfy court. Dara, it sounded like you were listening in. So do you have any questions for me, Ms. Amat?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so you don't have any questions, Mr. Butler Broadbelt. How about for you, Dara? Do you have any questions for me? She may have already gone to that meeting room with you. So you are going to get that invitation here momentarily then, sir. You can go ahead and accept that, and that'll move you to the next step of this process.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome. Take care.
You too.
A sheet for Mr. Garnett's case. All right, I'll drink it. Did you reach out to prosecutor's office to see if anybody wanted to join us?
It seems that one of them is in the building today.
Oh, okay. Tough is here. Terrific. All right. Good afternoon, Ms. Huff.
Good afternoon.
And that's Mr. Garnett. Ms. Huff, not a lot's going to necessarily happen today, but I'm glad you're here so that you can at least indicate whether you have an objection. And I think in our last appearance, I allowed your client to not be present for this. So I think it's just going to be Mr. Garnett for the Thyson Williams case. Mr. Williams is not present, but was given permission to not be present for this particular proceeding. And what I heard Mr. Garnett say when he came in, we didn't make a record of it, but that he was going to ask to reset the case. Do you want to just make a quick record of that?
Yes, Your Honor. Thanks very much. Stan Garnett, appearing for Tyson Williams. Your Honor, I've spoken with Mr. Reynolds, who did as we asked and looked at the evidence very closely, and he's extended an offer that's a very appropriate offer. Mr. Williams has a number of things going on in other jurisdictions which make it difficult to evaluate whether he should accept this offer. He's not prepared to do that at this time. what I would ask the court to do, if it's acceptable, is to set this matter over for 60 days, which will permit 2 different cases to resolve, and then we can evaluate whether this case needs to go to trial or whether we can dispose of it.
All right, and I'm looking at it was a use of fighting words charge from September 6th was the date of the issuance of the summons. So Ms. Huff, do you have a position with respect to that request?
No, Your Honor, no objections.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and just grant that request. We'll reset this. And it'll be for what we call a dispo and trial setting date.
That'd be great. We appreciate that, Your Honor.
And we'll just say two months or more. And Nick, do you want to do that in here? Or do you want me to send Mr. Garnett out front for that court date?
Up to the front, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Garnett, we're going to just send you right out front. They'll get you the court date to your right. I think you know the drill. Thank you, sir.
Thanks very much, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Just want to make sure that a plea hasn't yet entered on that case. I don't think there has been a not guilty plea entered. Entry of appearance, no, just a jury demand. So there wasn't ever a guilty plea yet. Wanted to make sure the clock hadn't started to run for jury trial or for speedy, but neither have started yet. Thank you, Nick. We have Ms. Krug here, and we'll recall a case that was involving Ms. Krug, which is Trey Larson. That's you, I'm assuming, sir. Good afternoon to you. And Ms. Krug, when you came in, you mentioned that you had not yet had an actual conversation with the prosecutor. Is that correct?
Yes, and I have been able to talk to the prosecutor, and we do think we have a potential resolution of the case. We do need to set this matter over for us to work with Boulder County Diversion and get a copy of his Boulder County Diversion contract. I'll provide that to the prosecutor, and then I anticipate this case would be dismissed. But we just need a little bit of time to get all that paperwork and ducks in a row, if that makes sense.
It does. Any objection to that, Ms. Huff?
No objection.
All right. So how long do you think before we can get that paperwork?
I feel like we should diversion coordinators out of the office today, and then next week being Thanksgiving, I think we should probably set it more like 6 weeks out of an abundance of caution.
Probably perhaps right before we break for Christmas.
That would be, yeah.
And Mr. Larson, are you local here in
Yes.
Boulder?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then we stop having cases like around the 19th or 20th of December. So we could end up in January, but
I fully anticipate it will be dismissed. So I think it's more just the court date is holding.
right, it's a kind of a placeholder to make sure that we have a follow-up. I'm going to try to get, I think the best would be to get it done if we have a date that's kind of right at the end of our last dockets in December. If not, we can do something in
We
January.
might have to force it on.
Yeah, if you don't have room, don't force it. Just put it into a January. I don't think anybody's overly concerned about the timing. Is that right? Okay. We'll just take an early January date for the next setting on this then. And Nick, I don't have a face sheet for this one, so if you'll give me one, I can fill that out. So what's going to happen here, Mr. Larson, we're going to send you both out front. They're going to give you a setting notice, which is your next court date. It's quite possible that before that court date, you hear from your attorney that this case has been dismissed. If you do hear from your counsel that your case has been dismissed, then you won't have to come back to court. But if for some reason there's a glitch in the process, then you need to make sure you come back to court for that court date. Does that make sense? Right. Then I'll just send you both out front and they'll get you that new date.
All right, thank you.
Great, thank you.
I will email you and you'll have all my contact.
Perfect, thank you.
What else do we have here?
Mr. Toller just.
Are you Mr. Toller?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Toller, why don't you come on forward, if you will? Let's take a look and see what we have. All right, so you were here in August. You entered into a deferred judgment at that time. The other cases that you had pending, aside from the one that's present for today, 2025-4336, the other cases were dismissed at that time. You entered into a deferred judgment. The expectation was you were going to complete 5 housing-related tasks as part of that deferred judgment.
I've not done any of those, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, I appreciate your honesty on that. That I was going to say the next step in the process is when we hadn't seen proof of that, our probation officer initiated a show cause process, and the prosecutor requested that I issue a show cause order, which has now been issued by the court. And that was for you to appear. And then when you didn't appear on the show cause order, then a warrant is issued. So a warrant has gone out. We're not arresting you today, so you're here in the courtroom. So I'm glad you're here. I just want to take a quick look and see how we got to right here, because it doesn't look like we've necessarily canceled the warrant. I don't know for sure on that, but we want to make sure we get that done if we haven't.
I'm gonna print a face sheet.
Okay. Yeah, looks like the warrant was entered on October 24th. But I don't see that it's been canceled. So we want to make sure we cancel it so you don't get arrested when you walk out of here, Mr. Toller. And nobody wants you to go to jail when you voluntarily appeared to get your case back on track. Tell me about what happened back in August. You were here. You looked like you were ready to move forward with doing some things, and then things slipped off the radar. Do you want to share with me why?
Well, I ended up wanting to just spend as little of my time on it as possible. Ultimately, that's what I kind of came to in my own mind.
I see. And what caused you to get back here in court with us?
It's because I was given, well, the first time, both times it was actually from the same officer, I believe, who the obstruction ticket. I didn't even realize the first one was an obstruction ticket until I tried to go to the community court and have Nick help me with it. I didn't realize until after that, so I didn't know it even.
That you wouldn't be able to address it at community court. So you have another ticket. Is that what you're doing? Nick is pulling this face sheet up for that one. Okay, let me.
I've never had any warrants out for me before. I've never been arrested or stuff.
Okay, I'm going to pull up that case that Nick's also looking at right now. See what that one's history is. Okay, so that was a subsequent ticket that you got. And that was a ticket that was issued on, I'm reading September 10th. So after you were in court, you got that other ticket. It had an obstructing government operations charge on it. You were scheduled to come on September 23rd and didn't come on that court date of September 23rd.
To be honest with you, I should have actually just fought it because I think I shouldn't have stood in the first place. And I shouldn't have done the no contest. I think that was a mistake on my part because I wanted to put as little of my own energy into it as possible.
Okay, so let's start by, I'm going to cancel warrants on both of those cases. Now, it's not my job to even advise you on how you should proceed. That's entirely up to you as to how you'd like to proceed with the cases. The first case that I mentioned, the 4336 case, you had already resolved by entering into the deferred judgment. So that case is done from a procedural perspective in the sense of you've already entered your guilty plea to that charge. There isn't the right to go to trial on that charge because you've already given up that right when you pled guilty on and accepted the deferred judgment. But the other case, the newer case, you have not yet entered a plea on that charge. That one's still open for you to determine whether to enter a not guilty plea or a guilty plea. I think what may be worthwhile, and it's up to you, but is to have a conversation with Ms. Huff and to see if there's some kind of resolution. Do we have a navigator here available to have a follow-up conversation with Mr. Toller?
Far and dispatcher both.
Okay, so, and I don't want to force anything on you, Mr. Toller, that when you were last here, you probably met with the navigator or we wouldn't have had this agreement for you to do those 5 housing-related tasks.
I've had a lot of help with the staff from community court in the past. In fact, Nick's given me my driver's license and I'll be.
Yes.
Helped me in the past as well.
That's who's here to have further conversations with you, and it may be worthwhile to have a conversation with them first. Sometimes one of them can identify additional things that you can do and then have a conversation with you and the prosecutor to see if there's a way to resolve the case. They're not lawyers, they don't represent you, but they can assist you in tasks that may be suitable to the prosecution to dismiss your case or to
Let's be open about my position. I've been here in Boulder healing my spine this entire time. I've been living out in tents, yes, but I've not been going out of my way. I've not been creating trash. There are officers who can back me up on these things. I'm not someone who's out here creating any problems for anyone, or at least when I was during the time. So.
And those may be things that you want to share with the prosecutor is to see how they might want to proceed with the case. So do you want to kind of continue on that path of having a conversation with the navigators and see if there's a way to resolve these cases without you having to go to trial? Because that would be the other option on the new case that you have. You could plead not guilty and set that for trial. And there's the 3 charges. There's obstructing government operations, camping or lodging on property without consent of the owner, and having a prohibited items. Those are the 3 charges that are pending. So I want to make sure you understand what your rights are. And I'm going to go ahead and take an opportunity now to share those rights with you so that you understand them. And you've heard them before, but it's important for me to make a good record for you. So those 3 charges, you haven't pled guilty to anything. You're presumed innocent of those charges. And if the case were to go to trial, it would be the prosecution's burden to prove those charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If you decided to have to represent yourself, you could, but if you wanted to hire counsel or apply for the public defender to represent you, you could make an application today. I could determine if you're eligible for the public defender. If the case were to go to trial, you would have the right to testify or not testify at the trial. You also have the right to cross-examine the witnesses against you, and you have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf. If you were to request them, our court clerks could issue you subpoenas that you could have served on your witnesses to make sure that they attend court. And you have the right to appeal the decisions of this court to a higher court. To do that, you would need to file a written notice of appeal in the Boulder County District Court. District Court's just down the hall here, and that would have to occur within 35 days of final action by our court. The maximum penalty that I can impose on either of these two cases is up to a $2,650 fine and up to a 90-day jail sentence. That does not mean I'll be imposing a jail sentence on either of these cases. That's the legal authority that I have, so I share that information with people so they're aware of that. Doesn't mean that I would impose a jail sentence even if you were found guilty of on either of these cases. Even with the deferred judgment, I'm not likely to send someone to jail who's come to court to try to address the case. If you failed to appear and you were arrested on a warrant, it might be a different circumstance, but we've canceled those warrants. So I wanted to make sure you understood those rights and your right to appeal and your right to plead not guilty. But if you'd like to have a conversation with one of our navigators today and see if there's a path forward for you, it will probably require that you complete some housing related tasks. That's typically what they expect. And you've completed some of them. It sounds like you got an ID and done one of those kinds of things, but there might be some other things they ask you to do. So that's up to you. It's a voluntary program. If you decide you want to participate in the program and do it that way, you can. If you decide you want to plead not guilty on the new case and go forward with that, you would have that right. And like I said, if you want to apply for the public defender, you could do that before making any kind of decision on your case.
I'd like to do the public defender and yeah, I'm not.
You want to apply for the public defender?
Yeah.
Okay. So Nick's going to give you the form for that. There's form looks a lot more involved than what I really need. I just need your income. If you're not receiving any income, you can simply put that on the document and sign it. And that's enough for me to appoint the public defender. I don't need to know much more than that for people who are unhoused, because typically they don't have any assets or resources that would justify me rejecting a request for the public defender. So if you'll fill that out and give it back to us, I can make the determination as to whether you're eligible.
It's a way to simplify this because I truly have no income.
Yeah, that's like I said, literally, if you write down where it asks for your income, if you want to put 0 there and sign it, you can do that.
Okay.
And then just let me know once you've signed it and we'll recall your case.
Well, let me just quickly.
And I did see some folks come into the courtroom, so let me just take a quick look and see where we're at.
Your Honor. Harris.
Counsel, are you here with Mr. Pears?
I am here with the person who was injured in the case.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. All right. So let's go ahead and call the Daniel Pears case. And if Mr. Pears is here, perhaps appearing by Zoom video.
No,
No?
they might be in the hallway.
Okay. Did they check in? Okay.
They told me they checked in, but maybe they're not. Just assume. We do have somebody on Zoom.
Ms. Haskins?
Yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and call the Giada Haskins case. Ms. Haskins, if you'll unmute your microphone and enable your video.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Ms. Haskins.
Good afternoon.
Give me just a moment. I'll pull up your case and we'll see where we're at. All right. So on October 28th, you appeared in front of Judge Hill, and then you decided to reset your case about 4 weeks out. There had been an offer that was made by the prosecutors for a deferred prosecution to the charge that you are facing, which is a charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. That was probably explained to you at the last court date. And so the question now is, if you decided whether you want to accept that offer, you could also plead not guilty and set the case for trial. Or if you'd like to speak with one of our prosecutors, you could speak with Ms. Huff today to discuss the case in more detail.
I would like to accept the offer.
All right. So when you accept the offer, you're not required to plead guilty to anything. It's really just you accepting the disposition offer. You'd be agreeing to complete whatever class our probation officer directed you to complete. And then your case would be dismissed as soon as we had proof that you've completed the class, as long as you don't get any other citations involving alcohol or drugs between now and the date that you complete the class. Is that what you understand the agreement to be?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me before I make this a court order?
I do not. I will just receive information about what class to take, correct?
Yeah, the next step of this process is actually for us to move you to a breakout room to speak with our probation officer. So she'll talk to you. She'll go over this with you. There's that $100 fee associated with it. Are you going to be able to pay that today?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to make this an order of the court for the deferred prosecution. And then for your purposes, you're going to get an invitation from Nick here in just a moment to join our probation staff in a breakout room. You can go ahead and accept that. And then they'll have the conversation with you. They'll give you information about the class. I encourage you to get signed up right away for the class. As soon as we have proof that you've completed it, then we're going to dismiss the case and seal your record.
Okay.
Okay. And have you talked to CU yet about this situation? Did they contact you?
They have not contacted me yet, but I heard that I would be contacted.
Yeah, it's likely you'll hear from them at some point. And then just keep in mind that when you talk to them, let them know what you've done with us, what class you've signed up for. They'll take that into account in deciding what class they want you to complete, if they decide they want you to complete one.
Okay.
And you should only have to do one class to resolve it. You just give proof to both CU and to us.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Haskins. Just when you see that invitation, go ahead and accept it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Nick, I'm not seeing anybody else. Yeah, you can come forward if you filled that out, Mr. Toller. You can give it to Nick. He's going to actually just provide it to me. I don't think we upload it right away, do we? We upload that into judge's notes when we're done.
I don't have access to Jumbo.
Yeah, so why don't you just bring it to me and I'll look it over. So, Mr. Toller, I want to make sure you understand with respect to the public defender, and you clearly qualify for the public defender, so I'm going to grant the request if you want me to go forward with it. Our public defender's not here today, so you would have to come back on another date to meet with her, and then she would represent you in the case. The next court date for her is December 9th, which is about a little over 2 weeks from now. So that would be my expectation is we would simply reset you so that when you come back, you could address both the old case that has the deferred judgment on it and the new case when you come back. Is that what you'd like to do?
That's what I like to do. Yes.
Okay, I am going to grant the public defender request. Defendant does qualify. And I'll make that notation on both cases, Nick. So both of Mr. Toller's pending cases, the public defender has been appointed.
You said 3 cases?
2 cases. So we'll reset both of these cases for December 9th at 9:30. That's when our public defender docket starts on the 9th. And then Nick, do we want him just to go out front to get that setting notice from our clerk? So Mr. Toller, if you'll just go out front to turn right. When you get there, they should know from the paperwork that they're getting that the public defender has been appointed. But if you'd like to have her contact information, she generally doesn't reach out to people until she sees them at the first court date that she's here. So there's no reason for you to necessarily reach out to her. If you just come back on that date, that would be your first meeting with her. But if you need her contact information, they can provide that to you. But she has
expected to be time that I could talk to her before the actual case.
It's not likely that she would do that because when she comes, that's when she gets a chance to look at the police reports. The prosecutors have a file. So her process is she comes if the defendant is here, because sometimes people say they want the public defender and then they don't come back. And so she wants to make sure that they're actually here and ready to proceed before she puts a lot of work into the case.
Understandable since I wasn't there for a couple of them, but.
Yeah, and that's what sometimes happens. So she says she's in her mind, when they're physically here, I will be here that day and then I'll have that conversation. And the prosecutors have their file so they can share it with her and she can look over the police reports, talk to you, and then you all can make a decision as to how you want to proceed with those 2 cases.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's preferable. Yes.
All right. So just turn right when you exit here. They'll get you that new court date.
Very well.
All right. Thank you. And we've already canceled those warrants, Nick?
I put it in the chat.
Okay.
We push those.
All right. So there's the 2 face sheets for that. Oh, and will you walk this back and just have Greg upload it to judge's notes?
He's not doing it.
Okay. Sabrina can probably do it, I would think. And Nick, are we still waiting for Mr. Parrish to come into the courtroom? We might want to step out and ask him to enter. Unless, okay. Would you mind, Ms. Huff? Just that would be great. Just we can expedite that process.
If you would like to speak with me, it sounds like he has an attorney on board. Do you want me to go ahead and speak with him now or bring him in first?
Why don't we make a record just to protect you on that? We can, if he wants to have a conversation without counsel, make a record to protect your rights. Yes. And I noticed that it was Miss Aniken was counsel. Was she out there with him?
She is actually on her way.
Okay.
They're just waiting for her to arrive.
Okay. So we'll hold off on the Parrish case and allow Miss Aniken to get here. And then I do see an individual who's appeared by Zoom video. Mr. Is it Barkadel?
Yes, sir. This is Mukhtar Barkadlo.
And how do you say your last name, sir?
Barkadlo.
Barkadlo. Okay, thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and call that case. Give me a moment. I'll pull up the history on it and review it.
Sure.
Mr. Barkadlo, when you were here in October, an offer was made by the prosecutor to reduce your 4-point charge to a 0-point charge. The expectation is you would complete the level 2 traffic class before coming back to court. I don't see the proof of the class in our file. Have you completed the class?
Yes, I have the email of the certificate.
And who did you email that to?
Oh, I did not email it.
Oh, you did not. Okay.
Yeah.
You just have the certificate with the
Yeah.
emailed certificate. So why don't we just, well, Nick, our court clerk's going to put in the chat his email address for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see that, you can email that certificate to him. He'll upload it. And then once I see that in the system, I can go ahead and go forward with taking the plea to that 0-point charge for you. Does that make sense?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So we'll hold on. We'll recall your case as soon as we have that documentation.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to go off camera for just a moment, Nick. If you want to go off the record, we can. And the Crutz case is just a bond forfeiture hearing, so I wouldn't expect for the defendant to appear on that, Nick. We'll just want to let probation know that he did not appear so they can fulfill the forfeiture process. And then the only other one, I'm not seeing Mr. Dieters or Zachary Ryan Dean here. Let's see. Oh, there's a motion to continue that was filed today, so that just hasn't been ruled on. So I'll go ahead and grant that. Let me know when you have everything on Mr. Mercado.
Yes, so I just sent the email to the email that Nick gave me.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
And Mr. Barcadell, you can enable your video and your audio again. We can recall your case. I do
Yeah.
see the level 2 class has been completed. I've got that certificate now. And so
Mhm.
you are eligible to accept the disposition, which was to reduce the points from 4 points to 0 points.
Yep.
The 0-point charge will be called failing to wear a seatbelt. That's obviously not what you did, but that's how the points get reduced.
Mhm.
This is a violation of section 7232 of the Boulder Revised Code occurring August 30th of 2025 at Broadway and Spruce. How do you plead to that charge, sir?
Guilty.
I'll accept the guilty plea. The good news is that does not go down on your driving record. DMV does not allow courts to submit 0-point convictions, so it won't be on your record.
Mhm.
I'm looking at the notes here. Good attitude with the officer. I'll look at your driving record as well before I set the fine. And I'm aware that there's a cost associated with the class, so I do take that into account.
Mhm.
Anything else that you would like me to know before I set your fine?
Uh, is there a separate fine attached to this 0-point or?
Yeah, there is. We still impose a fine, taking into account that someone has had the reduction in points, but they've still committed some violation that they've accepted responsibility for, and also knowing that you've spent some money on the class. But
Mhm.
yes, the court does impose a fine and court costs. And I look at driving history. I also look at the circumstances of the charge itself, the original charge, and then I consider anything that you want to share. And I've got your driving record pulled up. It looks like a few tickets from 2022 and 23. So kind of almost one every year for the last several years.
Mhm.
So not a perfect record, but I also recognize that you're driving perhaps for a living as an Uber driver.
Yeah.
But anything else that you want me to know?
Yeah, I've spent about 110 on the class. I was wondering if
Yeah.
there's any wiggle room for the fine.
Okay. I want to look again at the ticket just to see what the circumstances were of the charge itself. Okay. Nothing particularly aggravating about the charge. The charges have been reduced to a 0-point charge. Did spend some money on the class. So my record here is going to reflect that you pled guilty to a 0-point charge. It won't end up on your driving record, which is the most positive aspect of what's occurred for your case for you.
Mhm.
Normally, our fine is $125. I'm going to make your fine $70, and that's because you did have the expense associated with the class, and then there's $30 in court costs. So your total is $100 to pay the court. Are you able to pay that today?
Yes.
All right, then what will happen is Nick's going to send you after the court docket here.
In the chat.
He's going to put it in the chat right now. Nick will put in the chat the website address where you can go and pay this online with a debit or credit card. Does that work for you?
Mhm.
All
Yeah, I
right.
see it.
All right.
citypayusa.com.
Yep. So you are free to leave the meeting once you have that information down, and then I'll just expect you to go to the website and pay that today if you can.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right. Have a good day.
Yeah, so bye-bye.
Put a note in here that he's going to pay online. I'm going to call the Daniel Pears case. I believe Ms. Aniken is here with Mr. Pears.
They're here before me. Would you like them?
No, I think they're actually appearing on this same case. This may have been the party that was involved in the incident, so is what I understand. Thank you for that, though, Ms. Aniken.
Sure. Kara and I've been appearing on behalf of my client, Daniel Pierce. His wife, Nancy Stallman, is here as well, and a close friend. My paralegal, Jake Hansen, is here too.
Okay, thank you for all of that. So I'm just taking a quick look here, though. Last time you all were in court was October 21st in front of me.
And I was not present.
Okay, it was just Mr. Pierce that was here. Okay.
Shit.
And it was we reset it to today's date. So this is your first appearance on the case. Is that correct? Although you've done an entry of appearance, I've got that in the file.
Yes, and Your Honor, you allowed my client to withdraw his plea on October 21st, and so that's why we're here.
Okay, thank you for that. So I'm trying to recall the circumstances. I'm going to want to look back at that face sheet. I'm vaguely remembering that perhaps, yeah, there was entry of pleas that may have been mailed in or paid before. There was an issue of restitution, perhaps, which caused the defendant some concern, and so he entered a guilty plea without having fully been advised of his rights to plead not guilty and set for trial. So because I determined it was not made knowingly or intelligently, I allowed him to withdraw the guilty plea. So he's still presumed innocent, and the not guilty pleas could enter. No plea is yet entered. So it's that we're just at that stage. Ms. Huff is here for the prosecution, and it's not my job to intercede in the case, but I know there's a counsel here with the other individual who may have been involved. So there may be a need for some conversation, because if I'm remembering this correctly, part of the issue had to do with restitution that may be outstanding or maybe an issue in the case. So do you think it makes sense to have a conversation with the prosecutor about the case? All right. So why don't we take a few minutes, let you all have a conversation, and then after you've done that, we can take the next step.
Okay, that sounds perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And I will go off camera. And we can go off the record again, Nick. So I think everybody else is here is associated with the last case, and I don't think there's anything else.
Can I see Mr. Ollie, please?
Pierce case. Mr. Pierce is here with counsel. Ms. Huff is also here for the city. So who would like to share with me where we are? Okay.
Okay. Karen Aiken with my client to my right. Your Honor, Ms. Huff and I have just had a brief conversation in the hall. I welcomed her because I guess she's new to the municipal office here in Boulder. And she hasn't had a full opportunity to review the discovery, nor of course chat with me at a longer period of time. So what we jointly are asking the court is either to set for arraignment or pre-trial conference, either one that is best suited for the court.
How far out would you like to set it?
We should be able to review the discovery within the next couple of weeks. So if we can short set it before the holidays so that it's not running into that schedule. And I'll just add that we should also be getting a bit of documentation reflecting any possible restitution, which would also be helpful in this case.
All right, so let's just kind of take a look at what we have after Thanksgiving in the first few weeks of December. Let's see here, Nick.
We'll have to force this on.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, but I think we could probably do that. We could do either the 9th or the 10th of December in the afternoon. We've got 2:30 or 3 o'clock on both of those. 2:30 on the 9th.
We can accept either date, Your Honor.
I think the better one would probably be the 10th at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And Nick, it does look like there's an extra slot there at the 10th.
I'll put it in.
All right.
Thank you.
And that gets us a little bit over 2 weeks to allow everybody the opportunity to exchange discovery and the restitution issue.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, December 10th at 3 p.m. Nick, are you going to just do that here?
I'll do it right here.
All right, so Nick's going to get setting notice for you all. And we will see everybody then.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving to everybody.
Same to you as well as to Nick. Thank you.
I can give you a summary sheet. If you don't sign it, I can.
Okay. And Nick, I'm going to log out here. I think that takes care of everything we've got for the afternoon. Am I right about that? Okay. I'll be in a meeting, but you can come grab me if you.
Yeah, I'll give you that summary sheet. Just one.
Yeah.
They're just gonna wait right outside for that.
Yeah. What stage that in the street is this actually?
Right across the street.
Right.
Right next to where the chop house used to be.
So there's a new restaurant every minute over there. What's the newest?
Kozobi's the great Mexican.
Oh, really?
I've been wanting to go, but it's amazing.
It
Yeah,
is?
the sister restaurant. in Denver.
Ladies and
So take
gentlemen.
your reservation and just prepare. Carrot looks like this needs to be. Yeah.
I'm always up for, I'm still hoping the med will be rejuvenated.
It's been 5 years.
Yeah. Well, there's always room.
Yeah, all right, nice to meet you.
Take your name. You too, Chris. Bye-bye.
It's talking about chop house needs to be next to it.
And that family.
No, the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.